this is Jill Ciminillo with Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and today I am in Joshua Tree and I am looking at the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek. So what I'm going to do in this video is we're going to do a quick walk around. We're going to show you some of the things that are new on this compact crossover, and I'm going to give you some brief driving impressions. Keep in mind, this is a first look, so we'll get more in depth later, but let's take a closer look right now. I just wanted to do a quick exterior walk around of the 2024 Crosstrek, and I will point out this is the premium trim, so it's one level up off of the base. So you're going to see some features on here that perhaps you won't see on the base model, but it does have the 2.0 liter engine, and it does have 152 horsepower and 145 pound-feet of torque. So here, looking at the front, one of the biggest differences you're going to see in this new model is in this area here, because the grille, which usually had kind of this, I don't know, is that a hexagonal shape to it, used to be more penned in, but this is kind of broken out of the mold, and it doesn't really have a frame around it per se. And then you have the winged bar that kind of flows through, and also has broken out of the confines of the grille, and it just looks a little bit more modern and upscale, and I like it. So something else you're going to notice is that the headlights are a little bit smaller, but they are standard LED on all models. Here you're also going to have your LED fog lamps. Now, another thing to know about this vehicle is all of them are going to come standard with the adaptive headlights, and so that's a huge win for them, because that's going to place them higher on the IIHS top safety pick list, because they are more and more looking at headlights and how they are interacting with the road while you are driving. So another cool little tidbit of information as we're looking at the exterior of the vehicle, if you come and you look at the wheels here, the design is actually inspired by bike gears. Like the teeth in the bike gears. I thought that was really neat. And it's kind of apropos because of the fact that a lot of Subaru owners are bikers. Like, if you look at their hobbies, they're bikers. So let's see, we'll walk around, and the shape of this vehicle is going to be really pretty similar to previous generation, but they've kind of sharpened some of the angles. You've got some more cladding here, and the other thing that I want to point out is they really wanted the roof rails to be a part of the design, because so many of Subaru owners, and Crosstrek owners specifically, use these cross rails for loading things onto the roof of the vehicle. So along those lines, you can also see here you have a bigger step plate, so that when you are loading things onto the roof of the vehicle, you have a nice big place to put your foot, so that when you climb up, you can reach what's on top. Walking around to the back of the vehicle, the taillight shape is going to be very familiar. It looks very similar to the previous generation. I like the general shape of the Crosstrek, and I like the fact that it is both familiar and new at the same time. They've managed to keep a lot of the same lines while modernizing it and making it look more like it's 2023 than 2013. Stepping inside, you will see that this is a much more updated interior for the Crosstrek. You have really nice patterning on the seats, and they've actually done a lot of work on the seats to make you more comfortable and to prevent you from having some head bobble. So they've given you a lot more cushion and support to stabilize you, and they've also bolted the seat to the floor. So again, you just, over a longer period of time, you have less fatigue and more stability and much more comfort. But one of the biggest changes you're going to see is the fact that you have this large vertical display. It's like 11.6 inches from corner to corner, and therefore you've got the vertical stack with the vertical options on the screen. They've simplified and streamlined this area a little bit. They've got nice big buttons here for you to, and I use buttons as a loose term, they've got nice big buttons down here for you to press if you want to like change your HVAC, temperature, fan, that kind of stuff, turn things on or off. Another really cool thing that they've done is you can turn the air on for all seats, or you can actually optimize for just where they sense somebody is sitting. So if you turn off that all, it will now just put the HVAC controls to me, the driver, because I'm sitting here. Another thing they've done is they've added a static place for the auto stop start button. Before you had to kind of like hit the home button and go through another screen and get there, but now you've got it right here. Because this is the premium trim, you do also have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but because I do not have my device connected right now, it isn't showing, but you do get the vertical stack for that as well. Coming over here to the display, you've got analog gauges. And for a vehicle in this class, I think that is perfectly acceptable. I think it looks really nice. I like the digital bit in the center that gives you some information. It's not really configurable. This works. I know there's going to be somebody who complains, but this works for me. You're looking at a vehicle that has a price point under $30,000, under $26,000 if you look at the base model. So I think this looks good, and the fact that you get this vertical screen with the premium trim is a thumbs up in my book. Now, you don't get wireless charging until I think you can get it as an accessory starting even at the base model, but I think once you start leveling up into the Sport and Limited trims, then you get the wireless charging. But you do get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and yep, that's good enough for me. You also have heated seats in the front. I love cloth heated seats. They heat up really well, and Subaru said that they've actually made their heated seats hotter for this model year, and so you can have high and low option, which is really nice. Something else that they've done that I really appreciate is the fact that they've left not only the volume knob, but also the tuning knob, and you have some rudimentary HVAC controls to turn things up or down. So for the things you're probably going to be touching the most frequently, they've left your knobs and buttons rather than embedding stuff in screens. That definitely gets a huge thumbs up for me. I played around with the adaptive cruise control functionality a little bit, and it works pretty well. To me, the system seems a lot less aggressive than previous model years and previous iterations of the Subaru EyeSight system. This does have a wider screen, so it just feels like it is a little bit more intuitive and isn't as aggressive as previous Subaru vehicles, which I haven't driven it in Chicago, I haven't driven it in my home environment, but it seems like it wouldn't like slam on the brakes when I'm trying to pass somebody. So that would be my favorite if it didn't do that. So let's see what else we have going on here. You've got your highlighted controls on the armrest. I don't have my lights on yet. They're on auto. It's not quite dark enough for things to start coming on, but I imagine these will also be highlighted. And obviously you've got some lighting that'll happen there. You don't have any ambient lighting. Again, this isn't a super expensive vehicle, but I think they've done a nice job and with what they have here. They've got some really good technology. They've got some really good features and functionality. Standard all-wheel drive. But yeah, you will notice you have some plastic bits here, and you can see where they've cut costs, but it doesn't bother me. Again, Crosstrek. Subcompact SUV. This is good for that class. Let's hop into the back seat really quick, and then we will look at the sticker sheet for this specific model. So looking at the back seat, you do have the same seating material that you have in the front. They didn't cheap out and put like just plain black, so I like that. And this seems like it's pretty stain resistant functional material. Coming back here, you also have a USB-C and USB-A charge port, but do you see what's missing? I see what's missing. There are no air vents. So that's a little bit of a miss, but again, subcompact class, I don't know what you would expect. One thing that you do have is a little pull down here with cup holders that will actually hold your bottles in place. So I think that is good for a vehicle in this class. Now, before I get into driving impressions, I just want to give you a couple of things that I really liked on this vehicle and some of the things that I didn't like. So again, I really like the design. I like the vertical stack. I like the volume knobs and the HVAC buttons. I like the place to put a phone. I love the heated seats. I didn't use them today, I'll be honest, but I love that. I like the steering wheel controls. I like the adaptive cruise control, and I love the seat comfort. I love how this vehicle drives. I think it is really comfortable, and as my drive partner said, it's effortless. You get in, you adjust it, and it's just immediately comfortable. As a petite driver, I like the position of the A-pillar as well as the side mirror and the visibility that you get in front of the side mirror. I didn't feel like I had to bobble around any of that to get good visibility. Now, another thing that I will point out is this vehicle does get about 500 miles of range on a single tank of gas. This has a 16.6 gallon tank, and you can see we are at about half of a tank, and yep, we have 250 miles of range left, so that's pretty accurate. And Subaru estimates you should get around 34 miles per gallon on the highway, 29 miles per gallon in combined driving. And I will point out, we were driving through mountains and aggressively on the highway, and we're averaging about 36.3 miles per gallon. So I'm going to consider that a win. All of those things are things that I like on this vehicle. All right, now it is time for me to get into some of the things, the very few things actually, that I don't like on the Subaru Crosstrek. And I'll be honest, I really had to think about it, because generally for a subcompact crossover, I really like the Crosstrek, and I think Subaru has done a great job with this vehicle. But if I had to pick a couple of things, here they are. First off, I'm not really a fan of the CVT, but I'm not a fan of a CVT in general. I'm a manual transmission driver. I like control over my vehicle, and this just doesn't give you that. So, it's just not my jam. But if you're used to driving a CVT, if you like the previous generation automatic transmission, Crosstrek, CVT, this is fine. I will say the acceleration is a little bit wimpy, and you can definitely hear the when you are trying to merge on a highway or pass or drive a little bit aggressively. But even that is better than the previous generation, because Subaru has done a great job with the noise canceling inside the vehicle and the materials to make this a little bit quieter. All right, the other thing that I don't like is I really want blind spot monitoring to be standard. It is on this specific vehicle because it was added as an option. So as you level up, it does become standard, but on the base, premium, and base trims, it's an option. So I want blind spot monitoring to be standard. But you get adaptive cruise control standard, and you get eyesight standard, so there's a lot of other good things that are standard. But if I'm thinking about what else I didn't like about the Crosstrek, in this quick first drive, I really didn't have anything. So a lot to like, from the technology to how the vehicle handles, and really not too many things that I didn't like. All right, so I've now been driving the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek for about a half a day. I've been in the passenger seat, I've been in the driver's seat. We've been mostly on road, we've driven a little bit off-road, and what I want to say is this vehicle is really comfortable, and they've done a great job for a vehicle that's going to cost you less than $30,000 of making it a little bit quieter and a little bit more upscale. So this is the premium trim, and it's going to start at around $26,000. Now, That is with the CVT. There is no more manual option. But it does fairly well. Now, I'm going up an incline. I'm accelerating here a little bit. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but there's certainly a little bit of a struggle, a little bit of engine noise eking into the cabin, but really it's not a lot. I wouldn't call this engine peppy. It's 2.0 liter, as I said earlier in the walk around. It's got 152 horsepower, 145 pound-feet of torque. That's not a lot of power, but it's enough power. So I don't feel like somebody's going to hit me if I'm trying to merge on the highway or if I'm trying to pass somebody. But it is really not enough to go super fast. So here I am at about 55 miles an hour, and yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle to go much faster than that, especially as I'm going up the side of a mountain. But in general, I have a really good driving position. I like the location of the A-pillar. They've done a good job with the side mirror, so I have good visibility out the front and side windows. The seats are comfortable. These have the patterned cloth seats, very comfortable, and I don't know, good driving position. So in general, I think I like the previous generation Crosstrek. This is better than that. So if you like the previous Crosstrek, you're gonna love this. This is just really good. I mean, I don't know that I can use words like amazing or awesome, but it's really, really good. And this is, frankly, one of my favorite subcompact SUVs. So that's about what I have to say about the Subaru Crosstrek in terms of driving impressions. All right, that's it. That is all I have on the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek. So if I had to summarize, if I had to pare this down to a single sentence, it would be very hard. But what I would say is the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek is a really well thought out, well planned, and attractive subcompact SUV with a lot of nice features and a nice price. And standard all-wheel drive. It's kind of a run-on sentence, but I'm adding that in there too. So thanks for watching. Be sure to check us out on the web at pickuptrucktalk.com, and I will see you down the road.